Hello and welcome to Formula Next Gen and the Feeder Series Review Podcast, where we take a look at and review the exciting world of single-seater Feeder Series action. Welcome to episode 1 of this new podcast, and we're going to be starting off with a review of the season so far. I'm recording this just before the weekend of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and there'll be a small preview of that coming up at the end as well. We're going to start off with FRECA, the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Of course, I'm recording this after the tragic weekend at Spa, and I suppose we should start with that. Of course, a highly competitive championship, as it always is, but this season has just lost a bright star of the future in Delano Ventov in the race 2 at Spa-Francorchamps. It's too early to speculate on the exact cause of the incident. The 2021 Spanish Formula 4 champion is just another young star who was taken far too early at this circuit. The 2023 season of FRECA has already had 5 rounds at Imola, Barcelona, Hungaroring, Spa and Mugello. The season started very well for Martini Stensorn, who now leads the championship with first and second place finishes in race 1 and 2 at Imola. And it's not been a particularly good start for Andrea Kimi Antonelli, someone who's already had a very good junior career so far. Italian F4, ADAC Formula 4 championships all going his way, and becoming the Formula Regional Middle East Championship, the champion this year in the winter season just gone. He started off the FRECA season with a P2, followed by a retirement in the second race. His strong form of podiums and strong points finishes has continued, and he now sits P2 in the championship, only 2 points behind Martini Stensorn. Tim Tramnitz is another championship contender, but it's a fair way off the leading 2 in P3, and after retirement and a 16th place finish in Hungary. He's had 2 wins in the last 2 races at Barcelona and has been on pole 3 times, the most of any driver this season so far. Italian Formula 4, once again proving to be a very highly competitive championship to follow. Arvid Lindblad is dominating so far, the Red Bull Junior. At the Monza round last time out, he secured 3 first place finishes in all 3 races and is comfortably in the lead of the championship so far. Ugo Chukwu, James Warting and Kasper Stuka are not too far behind. They're all Prema teammates, although with only 3 race weekends to go, there's only so much they can do to overhaul the significant gap of nearly 80 points between Lindblad and Ugo Chukwu in P2, and them all being Prema drivers. It does look like this championship is pretty much wrapped up already from Lindblad's point of view. But of course this can all change rather quickly with 3 races per race weekend, and the fight for P2 in the championship will also be important for all of those drivers. Tuukka Tarppanen has also had some uncharacteristic finishes outside the points. He's a Ferrari junior, second in the World Karting Championship last year, and then second in UAE Formula 4 during the winter season just gone. He's currently behind Brando Badawaya in the Italian F4 standings, the son of F1 driver Luca, of course. He's not won a race this season so far, and has had a few retirements of himself already. Spanish Formula 4, Theo Nile from France is leading the championship. He's on a strong podium streak at the moment, and has been on the podium more often than not in the 3 race weekends that have gone so far. Brazilian Pedro Claro has a good start to the season in Spa with 2 first place finishes and a second place, but that form has dropped off recently, and that means he is 24 points behind Nile in second place in the championship. Leading rookie Enzo Deligny is a member of the Red Bull Junior team as well, and has had a very good round in Motorland Aragon, finishing first, second and second in the first 3 races there respectively. And after 2 retirements last time round in Navarra, he now sits P6 in the championship, although as I say, he is the leading rookie and his first season in cars as well. Eurocup 3 Championship is new for this season and features the likes of Esteban Masson, who currently leading the championship, 2021 French Formula 4 champion, and Mari Boyer, who despite pairing this championship with FIA Formula 3, had to miss 1 round to compete in Monaco in F3, is currently sitting P2 in the championship. Season started well for Francesco Braschi with 4 podiums in 4 races in the first 2 race weekends, but he currently sits P4 behind Sebastian Ogard, Boyer and Masson. After some mid-points finishes in the first weekend at Spa, Esteban Masson has never since finished off the podium with 2 poles and 4 race wins in the races since. The 2023 Indy Next Championship, having changed their name from Indy Lights, currently has rookie Nolan Seagal at the top of the standings with two second place finishes in the first two races at St. Pete and Barber, and two first place finishes in Detroit and Road America. Although with that he has also finished 13th and 15th, but is at the top of the standings with 244 points, with 16 points in front of Christian Rasmussen. British driver Louis Foster is the second rookie in the championship and fourth in the overall standings. And it's worth giving a mention to Jamie Chadwick, the only female driver, of course, driver from the UK, British, three-time W Series champion, currently only P17 in the standings at the minute. Although she did have a best race finish so far at Mid-Ohio, where she finished 10th. F1 Academy, another new championship this year. All-female racing series held as a support series to a few other championships like FRECA, the NASCAR Euro Series and WEC, but will have its own event at the Circuit Paul Ricard later next week, I think, and will be held as a support race at the Circuit of the Americas during the United States Grand Prix in October. About Formula 4 level, I'd say, using Tatuus F4 chassis W Series, which went into administration, was cut short last season. That was a free-to-enter series. This requires drivers to bring their own money to the championship and the teams, but I think the money is matched, or some of the money is matched by Formula 1, making it slightly easier for these young drivers to get back on the FIDE Series ladder, enjoy some competitive racing. Marta Garcia won the very first race of the championship at the Red Bull Ring, taking those pole positions as well, and is clear of Hamda Alkabasi, who is P2 in the championship by 36 points. Both Alkabasi sisters, who were teammates at MB Motorsports along with Emily de Hoos, have won multiple races this season so far, although Amna Alkabasi sits a bit further down the standings in P7. The Formula 2 season so far has proven to be a very close fought battle between the returners of the series, like Frederick Vesti, Teo Pourchaire, Ayumu Iwasa, as well as some of the rookies who are moving up from Formula 3 like Victor Martins and Oliver Behrman. The season also saw the return of Juan Manuel Correa to the series full-time for Van Amersfoort Racing. Ralph Boschung, one of the most experienced drivers in Formula 2, who races all the sponsorship money himself, won his first race at the opening race of the series, the sprint race in Bahrain. It was his first race of his F2 career, which he then followed up with a second place finish in the feature race on the Sunday. So good stories for him at that first race weekend. Victor Martins, the Formula 3 champion from last year, impressed on his debut, finishing in third place in the sprint, and Teo Pourchaire took his first and so far only win in the feature in Bahrain, and currently sits P2 in the championship, just 1 point behind Vesti at the time of writing. I'm sure that will change in Hungary. His consistency by finishing on the podium regularly after some disappointing out-of-the-points finishes have kept him in the championship fight. Oliver Behrman, rookie to the championship, Ferrari Junior, was third in the F3 championship last year, had a stunning round in Azerbaijan this year in F2. He took pole position with a damaged car, steering wheel definitely not centred at all as he was going down the straights. Won the sprint from 10th on the reverse grid, took fastest lap and then won the feature from pole on the Sunday. Ayumu Iwasa, highest placed Red Bull Junior driver in the series, is currently 15 points off the lead and of the championship in third place. He led the championship for a while, but so far hasn't won since Melbourne, and is being caught for third by Behrman. The season will continue in Hungary on the weekend of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and with the F1 silly season on the horizon, the season will be hotting up in the last couple of races before the summer break. In the Formula 3 Championship, the season so far has gone the way of rookie Gabriele Bortoleto and has had 2 feature race wins and a few more second place finishes as well. Josep Maria Pepe Marti, is 46 points in second place, 46 points behind in second place, with Gabriele Mini not too far behind. Paul Aron, the brother of sports car racer Ralph Aron, won his first race in Formula 3, the sprint race in the Red Bull Ring, and currently sits P4 in the standings. Sebastian Montoya, another Red Bull Junior driver, not doing too well for himself currently, can't seem to get a good weekend together, can't seem to get any sort of luck going. He's currently 14th in the standings with only 29 points. Pretty bad luck in Monaco, taken out on the feature and was disqualified from the feature race anyway, but some irregularity with I think it was having the wrong wheels on the wrong side of his car. It's looking pretty good for Bortoletta, though at the top he's had a few more podiums recently after a run of middle of the points finishes, and is 46 points clear of Marti, with only 3 more race weekends to go. There have been a few mid-season changes with Piotr Wisnicki, who was a rookie to the championship this year. He was replaced by Mackenzie Cresswell from GB3 for the 2 rounds at the Red Bull Ring and Silverstone. He will in turn be replaced by Michael Shin in Hungary, but I'll get to that a little bit later during the preview for the next weekend. The GB3 Championship, the rebranded British Formula 3 Championship organised by the BRDC, currently has Irishman Alex Dunn leading the standings. He was the British F4 champion last year. Callum Boyson, Joseph Loke not too far behind him in the standings, with only the top 3 separated by 14 points. Race 3 in this championship for each race weekend is a reverse grid race and rewards 1 point for every position gained from the starting to the finishing positions. And that's given quite a few points to the leaders, who often qualify on pole and then manage to work their way through the field in race 3 to score some strong points from the traditional point C system as well. This also gives valuable experience to drivers who might never get to lead a race normally. So Daniel Mavlyutov, who won race 3 at Alton Park and also in Snetterton. So that's 2 race wins to him, and his best finishes other than that have been P13. So despite being 22nd in the championship, he's won 2 races so far. The GB4 Championship, 1 step down on the ladder from GB3, is currently being led by Tom Mills. He's only finished off the podium twice from 13 races, from 4 rounds, and has taken numerous poles along the way. Cooper Webster from Australia is doing pretty well as well, in 2nd place, and Colin Queen from the USA is behind in 3rd. So in other news, recently Nick De Vries, of course, who was brought into AlphaTauri to partner Yuki Tsunoda, was just fired and replaced by Daniel Ricciardo in favour of other Red Bull juniors like Liam Lawson or Ayumu Iwasa. Lawson's first season in Super Formula in Japan is going very well. Adapted to a pretty difficult racing series, adapted to a new culture in Japan after, of course, moving from New Zealand to Europe in 2018. He finished P1 in the first race in Fuji, and most recently finished in the second race at Fuji in first place as well. He's currently 2nd in the championship behind Ritomo Miata, and he was looked over by AlphaTauri to replace De Vries, who you have to admit he was lacking his performance. Despite this, I do think he should have been given longer. This is Tsunoda's 3rd year in F1, his 3rd year for the team. He's only got 2 points to De Vries' 0, but he was definitely outperforming the car, and the car seemed to be very uncompetitive in this season. De Vries only had 1 retirement this year. Admittedly, it was his fault in Azerbaijan, although other rookies have racked up significantly more damage costs than him in his first year and have been allowed to continue. Choosing between the likeable Daniel Ricciardo back in F1 and having a new rookie move up, such as De Vries or Lawson later on, is difficult to choose, but I think it's only fair to move up Russell or Lawson to the AlphaTauri for the next season, or who knows, that might come sooner, just to see what he can do for the team. So the preview for next weekend is probably already happening as you're listening to this. It's the Hungarian Grand Prix with the Formula 2 and Formula 3 in attendance as well, of course. The circuit traditionally difficult to overtake, and now with only 3 race weekends to go in Formula 3, qualifying is going to matter a lot, and with 30 cars on the grid being one of the shortest circuits on the calendar, it's going to be quite difficult to set a good lap time in qualifying, so we could see a mixed up grid in the F3. As I mentioned earlier, Michael Shin will be replacing Mackenzie Cresswell at PHM Racing by Charouz, and will become the first South Korean to race in the championship. Jack Aitken raced for the championship when it was in its GP3 guise, but I think he raced under a British racing licence. Formula 2 is also in Hungary this weekend, and there'll be the Indy Next race at the Iowa Speedway, a short oval just over a mile long, that track, so it will be very exciting, I'm sure, just over halfway through that championship. Italian Formula 4 and FRECA will be at Paul Ricard this weekend, so quite a lot going on in the world of FIDA Series Motorsport this weekend, and we'll have a review over this weekend coming up next week, hopefully out before the Belgian Grand Prix weekend. Well, that's about it for the first episode of the Formula Next Gen Feeder Series Review podcast. Other episodes will be reviewing race weekends in more detail than this, which was just an overall review of many of the different racing series in the junior categories so far this season. So enjoy this weekend's racing, and you'll hear from me in the next episode of the Feeder Series Review podcast.